Let me make sure that you can hear me. Can you hear me? Are we live? So just to be mindful of people might be watching afterwards. Let me know, say good morning. If you can hear me, I think my mic wasn't quite clicking in earlier. Drop in the chat, thumbs up or number 1 if you can see me, hear me, so that I know that I'm not chit-chatting to empty spaces out there. And as we get ready to get started, hi, good morning, Chelsea. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for letting me know that you can hear me. This is our first live stream of the 2021. Am I right? Have I done another live stream? I don't believe I have. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for being here. Guys, remind me if you normally come to my live streams. I don't think I've done a live stream this year yet. I could be wrong. I feel like we haven't. So today, really, I wanted to talk about what are we focusing on in 2021. And I really just wanted to open the conversation and the platform for what you're thinking about. So let me know, put a number 2 if you're excited about your plans for 2021. Put a number 2 in the chat so I can see how many of you are super excited about your career plans or your business plans in 2021. Put a number 2. Put a number 2 in the chat. I get a little delay, so you might be like, we're putting a number. Why is she not saying? Hi, Maria. And put a number 3 if you're not excited. Like you just like, I don't know what I'm doing in 2021, so I'm not excited yet. Hey, Lisa, you're saying funny. You were thinking of going live today yourself, and you're making live stream more prevalent in your marketing effort. Awesome, awesome. All right, Maria and Chelsea, number 2, and number 2 for you, Lisa, as well. If you're in the chat and you're like, I'm just not sure, I'm not going to call you out. But put a 3. Put a 3 so we can know, like, where are we at? Are we excited? Are we not excited? 2 if you're excited, 3 if you're not excited. Okay, I just want to see where we at. 2, put a number 2 if you're super excited. Number 3 if you're like, 2021 is here, but I'm just not there. You know, I keep looking down just because I'm just looking at the chat. Hi, Alvin. I'm glad you've made it into live. And for anybody who has not seen it yet, I've tried to put it in the description in the live stream, as well as in the chat, a link. Hello. A link to all my future live streams. So now I've put dates. I kid you not, I've made a commitment this year to knowing when I'm going to go live. So I've put a calendar, events calendar together. So when you go to the event calendar, what it will do is that you can then bookmark the event calendar if you want, or enter all the dates on your calendar, and you never have to miss a live stream again. So it's going to be fun. Let me know if that's exciting, because you usually go like, I don't even know when you're going live, and nor do I. But this year in 2021, you can see I'm starting really organized, right? I'm going to be super organized. So we're going to hear what you all are excited about and what you are not sure about. Okay. So for those of you who have put a 2, I'm going to be sharing my own excitement of what I'm going to be doing this year. But if you've put a 2, share with me quickly, what are you excited about? What are your plans that you're excited about for 2021? Put in the chat, and then I'll come back and read. And if you feel comfortable, if you put a 3 and you're not excited, let me know what's not making you excited. Like, what is it that's you're like, meh, it's just one of those years. It's going to be one of those years for me. Let me know in the chat as well. And if you're watching this as a replay, you can take part. Make sure that you just comment in the comment section. And if you're actually joining from Facebook, if you want to, just make sure that you give Facebook permission to highlight your name. Otherwise, how you come across in the chat, you just come across as Facebook user, and I have no idea I can call out your name when I'm responding to you. Okay. So super excited, super excited. All right. So Maria, you're excited about to learn a whole lot of different things. Exciting, exciting. All right. Oh, Lisa, you're saying events calendar is awesome. Yes, right. I actually made a commitment. I made a commitment. Made a commitment this year. I never liked to do that, but I did. I did. Okay, Aja, you are saying you're making your own personality test. This is awesome. Please tell us a little bit more. What are you working on? How is that going to work out? Aja, super exciting. That sounds super exciting. Let's see. First you're saying, yeah, first live stream, Janaya, welcome, welcome. Yes, isn't that exciting? So let me know, what are you all excited about? I'm trying to see if you're joining from Facebook. I don't even know if I can share I can probably share your post. I just can't, I don't know who you are because it comes out as Facebook user unless you give Facebook permission to show your name. So if you see me not calling out your name, I'm not ignoring you. I just don't know who it is. Okay. So blog for your writing and graphic design business. Is your business already running? Please share with us. That's super exciting. So you're saying your exams are coming, but you're super busy. I'm so busy to read books except textbooks, so I don't know what to feel. Understandable. Understandable. You're getting back to scuba diving. So this is super exciting because I think sometimes, like, I think this is really good that you mentioned this. And I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. It doesn't show your name. Give Facebook permission to please show your name so I know who you are. Because sometimes our career can almost kind of have this tunnel vision, right? And then we just end up not having anything else that actually makes us feel alive. So I'm liking that you sharing a little bit of those extra things that actually are exciting. And I'll be sharing a little bit with you also, but I just want to hear and see who is here and what are you all up to this year. So you say you own 2 stores with handmade goods and travel for sales. We predict big growth this year, trying to automate and delegate so you can have more free time. So this is the thing, actually. This is my focus this year. Is it the Vantron? This is my focus too this year as well, to share a little bit more of content of what I've been working on this past year, in terms of leaning down my processes, finding ways to automate some things so that I can grow without taking more time, right? So I don't spread myself thin, because that's always like my issue. I burn out and then I just can't create because I'm just so tired, right? So I'm glad that you're working on that. I would really love to hear more about that if you want to share later on in the comments, because that's exactly what I'm working on. And my goal for this year, personally, I'm going to start sharing my goal. My goal for this year is actually to keep working on that on my own business and helping others also to do that in their own businesses. My desire would be to help at least 30 people do that with their businesses. I know that's really ambitious, and I don't know why 30, but it's a number that just came to my heart, and I was like, if I can help 30 other people do this for their businesses, I think it will open a whole world, a new world for them. Because I know for me, this past year, that's been my super focus, right? And it has helped me so much. You say, okay. Marty, you're saying live stream is just on the right time. You just have a realization today about future plans. I'm planning on learning more about designing and landing pages from freelancing. Awesome. That is good. Yes, there's a lot to learn. And I promise you, there's lots of people that do you hope to then share that as as a service, or is that just for you to use? So Aja, you're saying you've taken so many personality tests. I want to pull all of them to help everyone discover their own leadership styles and strategies. That is really, really good. That is really, really good. All right. Janaya, you were saying you work as a copywriter and wanting to work for more clients, but you're worried about burning out. Yeah. So yeah, when we're service business, when we're service providers, that happens. I do find that as I was nearing towards the end of like coming December, I had to be really careful how many one-on-one like clients I was taking on and I was working on. And if you are in my email list, you know that I announced like I'm just shifting gears this year and maybe scaling back a little bit on one-to-one and kind of putting more programs together. So maybe I can do groups and take fewer one-to-ones, because then it just gets, like you said, you do burn out because there's only one of you and there's only so much you can do. That's why I'm really into the leaning. And you'll see that I think I did introduce that in the comment section below about the 80-20 rule. Let me know if you've heard of that. Let me know if you've heard about the 20-80 rule. If you've heard of it and what it means to you, right? Alvin, if you are writing comments, I'm just going to try and get through as many as possible. Just let's go today. We're just going to have fun sharing with each other what our plans are, what are things we're excited about, and sharing tips of how we can kind of make that happen, right? Because this is the first, I think it's my first live stream this year. So it's looking ahead, seeing what we're excited about, things that we can get ideas from each other to see how we want to advance our careers and our businesses, right? You want to digitize your dad's business for 30 years with no online presence, trying to help him get more clients, especially with the pandemic. That's a good way to go about it. Well done. I'm currently trying to increase followers on my fan at Instagram, but not really sure how it will make money, and if it does, how much. Are you taking any training with that? Because I know quite a few. There's a lady that I follow. Oh goodness, her name escapes my mind right now. Um, why? Like why this happens? Like my mind has gone completely blank. Vanessa Lau. Okay, I could see her face. I was just trying to remember her name. Vanessa Lau does really great training with Instagram, and she shows you how she actually did that and does use YouTube as well. She's on YouTube and makes money. So there are lots of training out there of people who show you how to make money on Instagram. I'm myself took a break from Instagram. It wasn't for me. That's one of the things I had to scale back. Just the 80-20 rule I was talking about that we can dive into a little bit. And so that's not my alley, but there was the mentor that I was following, and I was in her um, group coaching, and that I know I was in her membership, not group coaching. I was in her membership. Sissy, the six-figure chick that she passed away last year. That was very sad, and she also was a trooper. Her resources are still there. Her group membership is still there. So if you're stuck with things like Instagram, don't know how to do that, she's your girl, and so many other places you can get help with. Picked up a guitar after a long time. Oh, I am so sorry, guys. Do you know I forgot to actually mute myself? You can tell today it was a late night. Go with me here, okay? Okay, you picked up your guitar after a long time today and felt good, hoping to spend more time getting better with your hobbies. Awesome. About burning out. You agree about burning out? Yeah, true. We do it. This is why it's really important. And I know this is one thing I have said before, and maybe I've said this. I can't remember which video. If I do, I'll try and link it somewhere, right? For us, when people go like, I want to go into business and I have all these business strategies they have in mind, I always go like, for us, introverted, highly sensitive people types, right? Creative types, that we're deep thinkers. We dive into things a whole lot more. We're processing a lot of information per second. We are more likely to burn out more than others. And so our foundational strategies are far more important for us than for everybody else. So when everybody else is like, "Yeah, man, I kind of know the foundational part, I can just work it out as it comes," and they just focus on like the next level, which is like the business strategy before the corporate strategy, we have to kind of really kind of nail it, dial it in with the functional strategy, the foundation part. Because I find that when we don't do that, we just focus on this top part and the whole bottom part starts to fall apart. And that's when burnout come in. Let me know if that's making sense to you. And if I'm forgetting people, do forgive me. You said you've heard about it, but I don't know what's going on to tell about rules to our personality. Yes, you've heard about. I think you're talking about the 80-20 rule. Um, about rules for no rules. There's no rules for our personalities. And you know, the thing is, what may be 20% for somebody, one person will not be 20% for somebody else. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. Um, yeah, 80% of your business probably comes from 20% of your audience. Very much so, that is true. And also, you will also find that 20 how much you're generating, 80% of what you're generating is coming from 20% of your am I talking about that the other way around? Basically, you'll find that there are a few things that you're doing that are bringing the most money. I just can't think of that in the right way. The big chunk of your money is coming from few items, and you're probably doing so many other things that are just bloating and exhausting you, and they're not bringing you the most revenue. How to practically implement it. Yeah, so here's the thing. This is where you have to kind of strip it back a whole lot in order to figure it out. And I was thinking, do I want to do a workshop on this just yet? And I don't know if there's enough interest. I don't know if there's enough of us business people for me to actually do this for. Let me know. Like put a 5. Like, yeah, there's enough business people to want to know how to do this, because I will only do workshops and things like that when it makes sense. Let me know in the chat, because it usually takes like a second to load up. Let me know if you actually practicing the 80-20 rule, or even if you've never heard of that practice, if you somehow have found a way to lean down your business or to lean down your efforts, if you're a freelancer or you a service-based business, how you found a way to lean your efforts so that you only do a fewer things that make the biggest impact in your business. For all of you freelancers, business owners, service providers, how you've worked that out, because I would be interested to know. If there's enough people, we'll kind of carry on that conversation. Otherwise, we'll keep looking ahead. And so, Aja, let me know how you've done that. And Janaya, let me know how you've done that. And if you don't know, like, oh, what are we talking about? How can this apply to me? If you're not in a business, let me know that too in the chat. Because workshop sounds fun, but you don't know how useful it will be. I'll do if it's free. What workshop are you talking about? Are you talking about the because I think I was talking to you about Instagram. Are we talking about Instagram? Do remind me, because I know the conversation started up here. Yeah, we're talking about Instagram. So here's a little money mindset that we have to get. And I'm going to call it out a little bit, and I hope you don't mind. I'm going to do a little bit of this. Okay. I'm going to do a little bit of this. When we are looking to learn something so that we can transform our lives, we need to come and approach that world from a point of what can I do? I'm willing to do whatever it takes because this is my passion. If that's what's really you're passionate about, okay? If you're really passionate about bringing your art, bringing your work to the world, this is a thing you see yourself really do, then approach that part of your life with this excitement of what can I do to learn this? If money is an issue, if you don't have the finances, you don't have the means, say, what can I exchange in return for you to teach me this with somebody who is a specialist in that area? When you're coming from a place of, I will only do it if it's free, that tells me it's going to be really hard for you to even ask for somebody else to compensate you for your art, because you would not believe it's worth for somebody else to invest in the fact that you have spent your time to create that thing. Because if somebody spent their time creating something that will help you make your business, make your passion come to life to earn you a living, they should be compensated for that. Let me know if I'm making sense. So always approach someone with the attitude of, I want you to I want to learn about Instagram, but maybe money is tight. Can I offer you this service? I've noticed that on your pages, maybe you've just bought a new place, or I've seen you travel to this area. Can I paint you something in exchange for this? If money is an issue. Okay? I'm going to do a little bit of this because coming from somebody who has invested not only the time to put something together to teach you, but the years of experience, and say, I only want to take it for free, that would not make the person who wants to do that with you excited, because they're thinking, are you devaluing the fact that I'm bringing value to you? Do you understand? And if money is an issue, always approach the thing with the attitude of, what can I offer you in exchange to show you appreciation? When we are coming from that place of generosity, it opens up our life to receiving the same back. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat if that's making sense, or if you're watching this as a replay, how that has played out in your life. I do find I get far better response or approach that way. If I'm approaching somebody with, goodness, I've noticed this and the other for you, I would like to see if we can work together on this. If, for example, I'm thinking I can't afford them, or work on them on the place where they're offering. Okay? Let me know in the chat, or let me know in the comment section if you're watching this, if that's making sense. Because if you're looking to put yourself out there for somebody to compensate you, approach the person that you're approaching with the same kind of generosity. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Let me know if I'm making sense. I had to do a little bit of this, okay? Because sometimes if we're approaching from that, we are missing out and we are cutting ourselves short, because we're not opening ourselves up to receiving something that can make sense. And that would even block you from opening yourself up for somebody to compensate you for your work. Just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. Oh, okay. So you've heard of the 80-20 rule, but you don't know what it is. So we've talked a little bit about that. Hopefully I've okay, so the one you're talking about is the 80-20 workshop. Yeah, so if I was to run that, it would be paid. It would definitely be paid. You said, love what you said. Yeah. So yeah, because we have to always approach life to how we want to receive it back. And if we're struggling to, for example, like if we're struggling, if we can see, oh my gosh, I don't know how to make money out of this, I don't know how to make sense of this, right? It's a thing that we ourselves have a block. We all have strength, we all have weaknesses. And for me, for example, I prefer video over copy any day, because like you've seen me, I'm so imperfect. I can say a lot of things, I can waffle, I can't sometimes get my thoughts at the same time. Like I'm talking now, and I'm thinking at the same time, right? When I'm writing copy, I get really so into, it has to say the perfect thing, it has to say this, and it always hinders me. So to kick the perfectionism out of the way, I always find that this is why I've gravitated towards video, because it doesn't allow me to remain stuck in perfectionism, because I can just bring out something and share with you, and it doesn't have to be perfect, and it's okay. When you're writing copy, someone doesn't have time to just read forever when you're waffling. Not that somebody will have time to do that with video, but it's just a little bit easier to digest the imperfection, especially when we're doing live streams and stuff like that. So we just have to know that we have strength and we have weaknesses. And if we're approaching, if we know we have strength to create art, for example, but we don't have the strength to know how to market that, we have to approach the person who has created a way to teach you how to do that with the same generosity that we would want someone to approach us with the work that we've created with our art. If we don't approach the world that way, we can't expect the world to approach that way with our work. And that might be the block actually that keeps our work from being out there, because we are not approaching the same way. So that's my little rant. I hope I'm making sense. Oh, thank you. Yes, please do keep in mind. I like that. All right, that's actually okay. You just say, just like when I buy a class, I know I buy the content that's valuable to me. Yeah, so just definitely buy from somebody you can trust. Buy from somebody, and here's the thing, and sometimes I do see people do this, and I do appreciate it. Where when they offer something, they say no refund. I really do respect that, because to me, especially as I've seen this more maybe with like more high end, like high ticket items, with people that say, if you are going to come in, if you've already watched my content, if you've seen my free stuff, because everybody to some level, you've either come across them on Instagram, you've either come across them on YouTube, maybe you've gone on their website, you've seen what they offer, you know whether whether you resonate with them or not. By the time you get to a checkup point, to me, I'm thinking you have a good feeling of whether you resonate with them or not. Let me know in the chat if that's how you make a decision, because that's how I tend to. By the time I'm at the checkout place, I'm pretty sure I feel like this is a person that I align with them, with how they look alive, how they look at solutions. I am aligning with them at that point. So when I'm making a purchase, I know it's up to me to then make the use of what they're telling me. Lisa, you're saying devaluing service kills respect for the creator. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Good morning, Coach Jenny. Yay. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here, Coach Jenny. And I'm looking forward. I'm gonna go now. I'm working with Coach Jenny tomorrow and Friday, and she's an awesome human being. Awesome human being, right? So we have to be willing to invest in things that we know we lack, and we don't see how to make that work. And he said, Coach Jenny says, I never catch you live. I know, right? Today you got me live. Today you got me live. Yes. So you got this. Yes, we do. We have to. This is the thing we all have to get out of. I think that's actually Coach Jenny thing. No matter what, get out your own way, kind of thing. I'm like repeating these things because it's the thing that I have to think about too, right? Because here's the thing. By the time, yes, definitely invest versus cost. By the time I'm at checkout point with somebody's offer, it would have meant that I already know what they're about, what they offer. The thing is, when you purchase the thing and they are there to support you, or if it's a self-paced your own thing, that means you're really investing in you carrying the work, right? Because there is no accountability. You don't have somebody there to say, have you done this? Have you not done that, right? So more high ticket, you get more of that personal time and accountability and somebody holding your hand and working with you. But it's up to you. It's up to you and me to make it work. So when we're saying, I don't know if this will work, we have to really question, am I saying, I don't know if I can make it work? So the question, we have to flip the thing. The question is not really, does that make sense? Am I making sense today? Let me know if I'm making sense in the chat, because I'm like, sometimes you're talking live and you're like, I have no idea if I'm waffling and nobody's understanding what I'm saying. The commitment has to come from us, right? We have to be the ones that decide we have to make this work. Let me know. Give thumbs up in the chat if you're like, yeah, I'm following what you're saying. Because otherwise we are looking for somebody else to fix things for us, and nobody can fix our life, right? We have to, and you've heard me say this before, nobody from outside of you can fix you. They can give you resources, they can support you, they can hold your hand, hold you accountable, all that good stuff, right? That's the stuff. This is why we seek out extra help. This is why we seek out extra masterminds, all these wonderful things. Let me know what you have actually decided to invest in this year in terms of like support, help, and that sort of thing. Because now that we're in this is not what I was going to talk about, but it's like we've gone into a trail that we have to address sometimes. Because if we keep looking, if we are approaching our careers and our business focuses with the attitude of that's the thing that's going to give me the answer, it might not give you all the answers. Nothing can give us all the answers. And sometimes maybe we have more expectation out of like a stage in life more than the stage in life is going to deliver for us, right? So we are like, I'm going to take this one, course, mastermind, whatever, and it's going to just fix the whole thing. And all it was supposed to do is just get you 2 more steps ahead. Does that make sense? And sometimes that's a disappointment because for whatever reason we anticipated a different thing. I get that. Disconnect sometimes, right? So the thing we have to kind of figure out is, am I willing, and how far can I take this, whatever I'm trying to take, and what resource do I need to move me to the next level? Maybe I need to move just 2 steps, and what I've taken today is going to help me move 2 steps. Let me see what you all are investing in and making sense of this year. So this is good advice. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, you got there, right? We are responsible for our own success. Correct. As much as we can get out of it, whatever we are going into it with that sort of thinking. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? You invested in a copywriter so you can focus on what you do best. Copywriting is not your skill set. So funny you say that, Coach Jenny, because like your copy, like I always feel like it's just you talking. Seriously. I always feel like you talking. Whenever I read your stuff, I always feel that's what it sounds like. Totally understand, Coach Jenny. So let me know what you have decided, especially if, for example, when you said you were not, like when you put a 3 in the beginning, when I asked how excited are you with your plans, and you said a 3, let me know what help you would have needed, or what would have helped you make it a 2, make it excited for you. And while you're doing that, I'm going to share a little bit with what I am kind of working on. Okay. So some of you know that last year I came out of Instagram because I always feel like I was really spread thin. Like I felt like I was just everywhere and doing everything. And not that I was having this shiny object syndrome, but it was just like I'm trying to grow my thing, and maybe I need to be over here, maybe I need to be doing this, maybe I need to do that. And to the point where I was like, okay, I have to pull back some things, because otherwise I'm not creating enough space to actually be creative and actually be of any use. Let me know if that has happened to you before, where you've just like, you're excited, you are working on your things, you're working on your dreams, but then you're finding you're just all over the place. That's what I was feeling like. I was just feeling like I was all over the place. And so I made a decision, no distractions, just take stuff out. And like as some of you would have known, I started doing more of the YouTube. I pulled out of Instagram. Haven't really attended. If you have been in my Facebook group, you know I've not really been in there. And most likely that is going to go. That is one of the things I'm going to actually eliminate this year. Or if it does stay, it will stay with the understanding people have to just interact with each other. It's not going to be led by me. It's not going to be me pouring more into my personal time in there, because I have devoted the time to put more free content on YouTube, and it'll probably be on my site once my site is up. But there's only one me. If I spread myself that thin, there will be very little resources for me to actually um, do my work well. Does that make sense? Let me know if that's making sense to you, and I'll just check what you all saying uh, in the chat. Okay. So I'm trying to commit to something this year for a year at least. I find that I always change my focus every now and then. Yes, that I understand exactly. I understand where you're coming from. And actually, to piggyback off that is because, for example, if you go back to my very first video on YouTube where I just propped up my phone and I was like, if I don't make this now, I won't make it. I really started this channel to want to talk more about my own journey as an entrepreneur, what my struggles are, what's happening. And what happened was last year, I didn't really do too many of like entrepreneurship kind of videos because I was sent a very different audience, right? So many of you that came to me or were sent my way or our path have crossed had very different needs. And I felt um, sort of a desire and a responsibility to kind of help you or help from where you are, because I have not been in the corporate world for years, right? I left that world years ago. So I can't fully closely relate to where people may be if they're actually in that place and the struggles there. But from a professional point of view, being an occupational psychologist, I get that. And from the disposition and personality wise, I get the struggle. So I was like, I can be of help and I can be of service to people who have been sent my way. What I do want to do more of this year, though, is focus more onto the thing that really excites and expands me as well, so that I'm not taking away from doing that, because otherwise it becomes a thing I'm just churning out copy or doing things that don't fully complete my joy. Does that make sense? Let me know if you've been in that place before where yes, you can do the skill and you can do the thing well, but there's also something else that's calling you that is also equally exciting. And I think I understand from where you're coming from when you're talking about wanting to try a new thing. I completely get that. Noise can be distracting. Yes. Yes, it really can. I have the same problem. My passions and interests are changing time to time, so it's hard for me to focus on any single subject. So here's the thing. Here's the thing of what I really decided a few years ago. I decided, and obviously you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this if it's not for you, but it's what I found for me to help me feel like I have completed the thing. So whenever I started a journey, so for example, when I started selling products, physical products on Amazon, I was on Amazon for I think 18 months or so. Um, and really, I don't say I've left it. I think in my heart, it just felt like I should wait. And thank God I did, because then 2020 happened, and that would have just been not a great situation to be in. So I kind of stopped, I think, just towards the end of 2019 or mid 2019. I kind of was like, maybe I shouldn't get a new product. Maybe I should just wait it out, put out whatever was left, and just kind of wait it out, because that's what I was kind of feeling in myself. Like, I don't think it's the right time to introduce a new product. So from that point, when before I started Amazon, what I had decided was whatever venture I was going to go into, I was going to commit to it to the point of mastery or completion or having done it well. So for me, for example, with Amazon, I wanted to learn what's the ins and outs. How can I get my product actually selling on first page for the keyword of what I was aiming for? And when I got there, it gave me a sense of satisfaction and completion, a sense of mastery. Like I've come to this area I knew nothing about. learned it from grounds up, took a risk, introduced a product, sourced it out, branded it myself, my own product, sourced it at the time it was from China, and got in front of people and people are buying and it's going out, what might have you. It was such a great sense of accomplishment. And then it only completed because I did that. I think I would have felt dissatisfied if it got hard and I left it. It will always be a question in me. Did I give up because it was hard, or did I give up because, or let it go because it completed? So that's the thing I always kind of weigh it. Did I let it go because it was complete, or did I let it go because it was just hard? And sometimes it's okay if interests just change. But for me, because I overthink and beat myself up about like, did I just chicken out? Now I've just decided, even when I'm like, man, it's not that exciting. But if I haven't finished how I really wanted to finish it, I will see it through, because it just gives me a sense of completion in like a really good way of both mastery and interest. Let me know if that's making sense. Yeah, reduce platforms and double down. Exactly. Definitely. Definitely. Let me see what you've been saying. Right. So everything has so much potential, and I'll do all of them. That's a really good point, because I think most of the time we can't. We can only build one at a time, and that's one thing I've had to really develop a good discipline for. Let me know what you've had to do to develop for you, because we all have different weaknesses. For me, I can start stuff like 10 things at the same time. Is finishing them that's always a challenge for me. So the discipline is like, no, you got to see it through. Okay. You got to see it through, unless it's like very toxic. Like if I'm in an environment that's toxic, or it's like I'm dreading to the point, like I feel like when I used to work 9 to 5, that's almost like my measuring stick. It's like, if I feel as horrible as I felt when I was in 9 to 5, then it's a no. I've got to get out of that. Right. I've been all over the place for too long. This year, I'm delegating as much work as possible and trying to do just one task at a time slowly. That is super awesome. Definitely really, really helpful to kind of get that focus. I'm finding that it's actually really expansive, because I used to feel like if I'm not doing everything I want to do at the same time, then it might not be exciting. And it's not how I have discovered this past year. It's just not been my experience. Is definitely the more I have kind of narrowed down, and not narrowed down in terms of like everything I do, because here's one thing, and I teach this in my course with a mindset issue. Sometimes when we're so focused on a goal, it can take a joy out of everything else that we're doing, because then we can get to a point where if the thing we're doing isn't feeding into the goal, we can almost kind of disqualify it as not being important right now. And so having a more like a mindful approach to goal setting, and like goal, like kind of thriving towards the goal, and I don't like to use that word, but like going after your desires and going after your goal, is to have both, to be really mindful of like the present moment, in anticipation and kind of focusing for the future, because we don't fully know what is going to really make this thing work. We think we know, so we plan ahead. Like we're thinking, this is what's going to make this work. So these are the only things I'm going to focus on to make this work. And we could be closing a door to something that's emerging in the present moment that's going to be a solution to actually making that thing come through. But when we are only saying, I'm only going to do only these things because these are the only experiences. So let's say I'm going to work 12 hours a day, and I'm not going to meet with friends, and I'm not going to be with family. I'm not going to go walk in nature, whatever, and I'm using extremes here. It might not work that way, but I'm saying you get so tunnel vision to the point that the things that could actually make you more creative, taking a time to just laugh with a friend, going and lay down in the grass by the lake or something. It may feel like wasting time, but it opens us in a way that allows us to be our most creative, right? Let me know if that makes sense in some way. Because when we miss out on that, then it can close the doors to solutions that we may not actually see yet. So yeah, so you said that's why you chose to only focus on IG. Makes sense. Makes sense. Let me go back. I think I'm missing. Um, Yes, walking away after completion, right? Yes. Yes. Because we didn't quit, we let it go. Yes. And that's the part that feels better for me now. I feel like that's a gauge for me, and you might have to find your own kind of weighing of what that feels like for you. But for me, now I've decided no, I have to master, I have to complete the thing. And then if I just feel like the desire has just gone, then I can go like, oh, you know what? I feel like this is complete. I can let it go rather than did it get hard and I just gave up. I just sometimes it's hard for me to tell. And then I beat myself up about it. Okay, this makes sense. Great. Great, great, great. Yes, it's making sense. And when I accomplish something after trying, I feel so happy and then move on to something new out of curiosity, maybe. Yes, right? Yes, yes. So that's been my focus, and that's my focus personally for this year, and focus even for this channel, that I'll continue to make content that help me feel like what we're talking about, help me feel like I'm completing maybe a phase or a stage, and I'm opening myself up with opportunities for new way of looking at things and new way of doing things, right? And alongside with that, be okay with closing certain things that aren't working. I know, for example, I've made peace with the fact that I don't manage well. I don't manage people. I don't like to manage things. I don't do communities well. I can build things like in this community in the sense of like you all meeting together, but I don't necessarily want to manage a platform where I'm like, you all want to talk to each other. I'm like, I can create a platform. You all come and talk to each other. I just don't want to manage it. It's just not something that expands me right now. It's not something that feels like this is super exciting. I can be in that community and we can all be chit chatting. So, for example, the Facebook thing, either it's going to just kind of close out and we're just going to do more live streams, or if it's going to stay open, it's going to be on people interacting with each other, not necessarily me sharing that. And as the year goes, because I'm thinking, well, comes June, I probably will streamline it even more. And I know some of you have been reaching out about one-to-one, and I'm just seeing less and less people so that I can devote more time to building programs and support things that can actually help you. I hope that makes sense. You prefer because they have a deadline, be working on projects because they have a deadline. I think you know what? I think I am the same. I think maybe to some degree, that always feels like then I don't have to feel like I'm committing to something forever. And if I was to ever even open like a membership of anything, I think I'll be like, listen, we're just gonna commit for a year, and then we're gonna renew our commitments, because I think for me that then allows me to feel like I'm not committing myself to something I may lose interest in, and then the person has counted on me to continue to be there for them that way. You see? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Also bad at managing people, maybe just introverted thing. Yeah, I think I find it just super overstimulating for me. So I just prefer to have somebody else. I posted, I don't know if you saw it in the community link in the community tab or on YouTube to ask, and I did a thing of, can you all vote? What do you prefer? Like, would you like to have a community where we can hire someone to manage it? Because I'm not going to manage it, and we can pay. and and what 80% of you were like, we're not paying, and I was like, then there's not going to be a community. Let me know if you saw that post, because obviously, if you're on YouTube, if you are watching this as a replay, let me know in the comment section if you didn't get a chance to vote. Go and vote in that post if you didn't get a chance to do that, because it helps for me to get a fuller picture of where people are. It helps to do that. Yeah. So your biggest weakness is structure and staying organized. And this is one of the things that for me personally, um, stru I don't know, maybe because I was raised with a very military father. My father was in the military, And he's super organized, or maybe it's just my own disposition, or it's my way of coping as a highly sensitive person. Without structure, without things just somehow having order, to me just makes me feel chaotic and out of place. So I need structure in some things so that I can have the freedom. For me, that, let me know if that's making sense to you. If you're watching a replay or in the chat, for me to have the freedom and to have like flow, I need to have a structure, because otherwise, I think I was talking to one of my clients and he mentioned this word and I really like it. He said, it feels like I'm just floating, and that makes me uneasy. He said, not having structure makes him feel like he's just floating and like aimlessly floating rather than having a flow in what he's doing. Let me know if that's something you can relate to, because I was like, that's definitely why I personally have it. And I know not everybody has that ability to just kind of quickly see things, how things need to be kind of plugged into things. And that's one of the things I've really wanted to kind of teach you a little bit more on, or share a little bit more on this year with other business owners who um, don't really maybe have that dialed in their businesses, and though and therefore feel like it's just like feels chaotic sometimes. Because I think that's one thing that I have found very valuable. It doesn't always. I think I'm almost um yeah, having structure helps a lot. I think I'm almost one of those people. If you come to my house, I'm one of those people that will organize even teens, cans. You call them a teen? I call them a teen or a can. I can't remember which one is British, which one is American. Um, and I will get to a point where the label has to face the front. I just like orderliness to look really clean. And then there's some areas I just need it to flow. So it's like it's a beautiful dance I find that I need to have, where things are structured so that some things can flow. Let me know if that's making sense to you, because to me, just is how my life operates, not just in my business, but just in my life too. My wardrobe is the same, things have to be folded, KonMari is my thing, right? Like, that's just me. That's just me. And I know creative people tends to need to have that. I can only have that for, like, a little bit of a time. Like, if I'm painting or something and I'm working on a piece, yes, things can be a mess, and then I need to tidy it up. And that is the same order I bring in my business. Just yeah. It's just how it operates and makes sense for me. It makes my goal more measurable. Right, yeah. I definitely have that issue. Okay. How ironic that is. I love organizing things, but everything still ends up messy things, ideas or plans. So I just stop at some point. I get where you're coming from. I think that a lot of people can understand that. I spend weeks to try to come up with habits list for my goal. How does that work for you? Let me know how that works for you. I have a system. I have that. I use time blocking, so like I block days rather than like specific times. That's what I find works for me. Yeah, makes sense. I need structure to feel at ease, but I'm terrible at creating it for myself. That's what I do find. A lot of people just don't know even where to start. And for me, if you've watched my video of this exact room where I'm recording right now, because this used to be just a storage room that used to double as a guest room whenever we'd have someone coming and staying, like long-term staying. And you should have seen my joy of like just walking in this room and the boxes were everywhere. And if you have time, in my YouTube, I did kind of record the whole thing of me changing it all up. It always gives me such a great sense of satisfaction if I can walk into like a complete mess of something and organize it and seeing it all in one, in like in its own place, and have a system so that you don't keep creating mess. It gives me such a great sense of satisfaction. I can't explain to you why. It's like it's almost like a little addiction. Let me know if you can relate. Let me know if you can relate, or if you think I'm completely bonkers. That's okay too. Um, I think we need a loose structure so we can float comfortable but have something to fall back on. That's exactly what I have found works for me. So I block days. So I don't have like this morning do this, 10 o'clock do this, unless I have, specific things I'm doing. If I am here doing a live stream, I'm doing it with a client, or I'm doing the masterminds with my workshops or with my course groups, then those have to be really dialed in. Or for courses and memberships I belong to, those have to be specific because I actually want to be there live to get the help and support that I need. Everything else is really by days. So I would block days to know, like, today is my recording days. Today are my admin days. And then I just structure in to make sure that especially, remember we talked about the leaned in activities have a specific day when they can be attended to. So in my head, I'm not constantly feeling like I have all these things that I need attending to, because I know there's going to come a day this week I can attend to that. I can leave that alone for right now and attend to it when the specific day for that day comes. Now, when that day comes and I don't finish the thing, it's okay. Or when that day comes and I feel like, you know what, today I was gonna do all those email, whatever, but I really feel like I'm really kind of inspired to write my, SEO scripts and things like that for YouTube. Maybe I should just kind of do that instead. I will flow with that. So I do follow more of my creative thing, but the structure helps to give me like a way of distributing and making sure everything is kind of targeted in within my days. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Let me know if I'm making sense. Um, yeah, military provides structure. Definitely that was my father is very, very, I think also just his personality. And I think even for me, it's just my personality, because I think it's overstimulation. I'm trying to make sure that my environment is not overly stimulating to me. So I don't want to come in my computer, for example, and see like files everywhere. No, I can't deal with that. Nor do I want to be frantic, frantically looking for things every time I need them. So it's really for survival. That's why I'm organized. We need our own personal structure, but not something imposed upon us. Good point, because I agree completely. It has to work with who you are. This is why I keep sharing. I said this is what's worked for me, so that it can give someone an idea to think, maybe I can make it work, maybe I can try this. And you have to try for yourself to see. And if somebody else, I think this is why the 9 to 5 doesn't work for a lot of us, because it's imposed. It's imposed. Someone says at this hour you have to be here, do this, and you feel like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't like rules, but I make up my own rules and morals. I'm not so organized person, but when I need to focus on something, I definitely need an organized surroundings. And that's what I find. I do find that um, my mind is clearer when I don't have clutter, not just in my mind, but clutter in my environment. So I completely get where you're coming from. I think of you each and every time I stack dishes. That is so funny. You see, even dirty dishes, to me, they have to be just organize them. You don't have to clean them, but just at least organize them. It just makes more sense. um, yeah, so INFPs do well with a mix of deadlines and freedom. I have strict product deadlines, but I make whatever I want, so my intuition is fueled. Eyes con Marie for my home and businesses. It helps a lot. Good. I do find that it helps me too. I do find that it helps me too. That is exactly how um this is the mix, and that dance and the mix, you really have to know what that looks like for you, and maybe even having a little flexibility for the time of the life. So, for example, I can be really dialed in when I'm in my execution mode. Like, I don't even mind so much having so many deadlines for things to kind of, because I'm in that energy, right? I'm in that energy to kind of get things done. But when I am in like my recovery or rest mode, goodness, no, I don't want too many strict deadlines. I wanna say, "Can I get back to you some point next week?" And not, like, set exact, "Can I get to you 10 o'clock on Monday?" Because then I can just have, like, if I still need to just kinda process something or recover from something, I don't feel guilty. Does that make sense? Let me know if that's making sense. How do you feel about INFP in college? I have quit college 3 times because I feel that I get the worst out of myself. I have passions that I work on, but I feel like college holds back my development. If you've identified something that doesn't work for you, I'm curious when you say you've quit 3 times, do you go back and do something new? Do you go back to the same thing and just can't cope? Just curious to know what that has been like for you. Um, yeah, that's such a nice idea. I'll do that, creating a day to catch up unfinished work. Yeah, definitely. And sometimes even creating a day when you can allow yourself to be bored. And I share with this with my children because when they say, "I'm bored," I'm like, "Oh my goodness, perfect." We all need to be bored from time to time. That's where creativity stems from. You're not gonna come up with anything new when you're constantly in like a doing mode. We need to be bored sometimes. So I do allow some days for me to just be able to sit down and not necessarily plan anything for that day. For me, that helps me a lot to just have a day that I refuse to book anything on. I refuse to have a schedule on that day because if I just need to be in my pajamas and drink cocoa and curl up on the couch with my kids or go down the lake and just walk and stare and daydream, that's my day. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. I just took a semester because I wanted to try something like building a business. Okay, you took a semester off. Okay, makes sense. Can you please tell me how to follow my everyday study routine? Because I keep getting distracted by many other interesting things. So is this more of a discipline thing? And if you're procrastinating and not doing the things you need to do, you need to watch the video where I was talking about it's not a time management thing, which I think is what you're asking me right here. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, if you're asking something else. Because if you're dreading doing certain things, it could be more of an emotional regulation thing. It could be that you feel either because when we're in the flow, it has to line up with our skill set, what we believe we're able to do, and the enjoyment with the thing, right? And there are other criteria, and I'll probably share that in a future video. That's when we can feel at our flow, right? And if the thing feels too hard and we don't feel like we can really adequately do the thing, and we don't have the emotional kind of like muscle to work with that discomfort, we will most likely avoid that feeling by not doing the thing. And so if you're finding yourself constantly just trying to avoid doing certain things, it could be like you have to just kind of face the thing. Maybe it's too hard and therefore I need help figuring out how to do it. Or I am just operating at a level that's just constantly too challenging, in which case get extra help or reduce the friction by getting a simpler task, right? So I do find that's helpful if you are finding the thing you can't get into the rhythm because the thing just feels really challenging. Start by doing something else that's a little bit on the level that feels comfortable to the point where you start being in the rhythm of doing the thing, and then you can attempt to do the other thing that you're struggling with. And if that's you feel like it's a continued thing, then you need to get help to actually be at a level where you can feel adequately equipped to do the task, the project, whatever is actually asking of you. Uh, Let me see. You're saying, I find it helpful to talk to someone close to you and talk about what you don't get, like what you don't understand. Okay, yeah, absolutely, it helps. I find it very helpful to work alongside others. Um, but on my terms. Maybe that's why 9 to 5 was just never my thing. But doesn't mean I just like to work in isolation. I do find it collaborating with other people, talking with other people super helpful. So for me this year, definitely streaming down 80/20, and I didn't really get a chance to go too much into it. I'm realizing we're like an hour out and I don't want to like go on forever. I might have to create a video specifically talking about the 80/20. And for some of you who are like in work area, whatever, I did announce last week, and I don't even know if you saw it, where I was announcing that I'm going to be running another workshop. And with my workshop, I never sometimes I don't repeat them. Um, but so I don't know if I'm going to repeat this one, but I'm going to run one because so many of you have been asking about working conditions. Well, how do I know what working conditions are right for me? How do I know how to kind of layer them up so that I know this doesn't work, this does, but I don't have like a full picture. I don't have like a framework that I can use to make a judgment whether the situation I'm in is right, or the situation I'm going into will be the right one. And I keep always coming back to, it's not the type of job, it's the working conditions. And so many of you are like, yeah, but I don't have clarity on that. I don't really get what that would look like for me. So I did announce last week that in the last video that I did last week, that I will do a workshop, and most likely I will do it next week. When we finish this, I will post it in the description of this video. So come back and just check it out if that's interesting to you. Because most of the time I run these workshops and then I'm like, I don't think I'm going to run it again. It fulfilled the need. People who wanted it got it. Sometimes with the time zones, you don't get to be able to attend live, and therefore there will be a replay. Okay. So if you like to sign up to that, I will make sure that I will post it in the video, because I don't even think I have the link right now, but I'll post it, because you need to be able to kind of figure that out if that's your way. Even if you're going into business, to know the sort of situations you should get yourself into, the ones you should avoid. I hope that makes sense. I used to call and tell some of that I was out of the studio 3 days after a show because of introvert hangover. Yes, we do need that. We definitely do need to do that. I would love to sign up for a workshop on that. Awesome. You're more than welcome. So keep an eye out. I will try and see if I can post that for you, because I think it would really help you. Let me see if I can share with you something, because what I can do is what I have been. I'll share with you a really quick thing. I'll share with you right now, where you can go and just drop me your Janaya Curry. I've shared with you a link. Just go and drop your email in there for you, just so that you don't have to come back in here, and then I'll reach out to you and give you more information. And if anybody else is interested, just go into the video ask and just drop your name in there. Just let me know, yeah, I'm in. Just say I'm in, and then I know who wants to come. It'll probably be a very small one, because we're going to be more hands-on. So that's going to be really helpful for those who are interested in working out the ideal working conditions, because it's really ever a problem with the type of job. Even though we change our jobs a lot, or sometimes we struggle to figure out what that job will probably be like. And in the future, I'll probably teach another class that helps you at least find the one thing that you want to commit to for a foreseeable future, because we know it's not going to be something you're going to commit to forever, but something that you want to commit to for a foreseeable future. And I always use Ikigai. That's what I usually help my clients with. And if ever that interests you, let me know in the comment, or let me know in the chat. If you're watching this as a replay, let me know in the comment, because then I can announce it, run that class, that sort of thing, as I'm transitioning to doing less one-on-one. Because to me, I do have to kind of watch that energy. And if I'm taking on way too many clients, then I can adequately do it, then it gets too much. So definitely for me this year is the 80-20 rule, and I'll be sharing a lot more of those kind of videos on this platform. And I'm super excited for all of you, what you shared with me today, of what you have coming up ahead. I'm looking forward to seeing all those, you streaming down your businesses, starting out, testing out your ideas for your, I think it was a personality test, it was art, it was all these creative endeavors, and it's super exciting. And if you're in school and taking time out, figure stuff out, I wish you well, and I hope that will be exciting. Was that helpful? Let me know with a 1 if that was helpful. Drop in the chat, or just let me know, yes, that was helpful, or if you have any follow-up questions, because I don't want to leave without kind of saying that. If not, I'm going to give a second, because sometimes it takes me like a second to get to see your comments. If not, it was a pleasure having you. And if you're watching this as a replay, our live streams tend to be really focused on the people who are here. So I know sometimes when you're watching as a replay, you're like, man, I wish I was there. And if that's the case, I have dropped now my calendar in the description. so that you never have to miss a live stream, because it helps for everybody to interact. This is the whole point of doing these things, right? So that everybody that is here finds it helpful and interacts and get to even interact with each other. Yeah. Yes, it was helpful to know that it wasn't you're not alone in going through that. Absolutely. Absolutely. One. Awesome, guys. Thank you all so much. And I look forward to seeing you in the chat, see you in the comments, and give me feedback. Like with new stuff that I'm going to be posting out, give me feedback, what your thoughts and what you would like to know and learn more of. And I wish you well. Until next time, go watch another video and have a great week ahead. Bye bye.